The Netherlands, also known as Holland, is one of the smallest countries in Europe, but this little country is still home to many great roller coasters. And in my latest video I got the request Netherlands next from Good Gamer Jens. Well, okay. And as always, I've collected 15 of the best roller coasters in the Netherlands, and I think I might have some controversial opinions in this video. So sit back, relax and enjoy this video. Coming in at spot number 15 we have Falcon at Duinrel, and I'm really sorry if I pronounce these Dutch names in the wrong way, but I don't know really, man. But Falcon is a small and compact Gerstlauer Eurofighter model, and you people probably know how I feel about Gerstlauer trains. Ugh, the over-the-shoulder restraints are just uncomfy and the ride layout is rattly. Falcon has a great and sharp first drop combined with a hang time filled vertical loop and hang time filled hardline roll. The ride layout on Falcon is very short. You have a few twists and turns, then inversions and then a helix, and then you're done. Overall uncomfy trains that are rattly but a punchy layout. And coming in at spot number 14 we have Speed of Sound at Walibi Holland, and this really is one of the few boomerangs I can survive riding. This former horrible boomerang roller coaster has been rethemed to Speed of Sound. This ride has got new Vekoma roller coaster trains with vest restraints. That means there's no headbanging. The only headbanging I'm doing on this ride is when the beat drops on this EDM music track. You got your typical back and forth high positive G-force boomerang track, but combined with onboard EDM audio. That's just the best experience, man. The music is the best part of this ride. Moving on at spot number 13 we have Vliegende Hollander at Efteling, and this is actually a water coaster, but it still counts. The outdoor coaster track on this water coaster is very dull. You have a dull twisted drop combined with two camelbacks that doesn't give airtime and then a sharp overbank turn, and then you hit a pretty okay splashdown. What makes this coaster part of the list is the amazing theming in the dark ride areas. This roller coaster features an amazing and immersive pirate theme. This water coaster is just as themed as the rides in Europa Park and Disneyland, so that's why it's on the list. And now at spot number 12 we have Formula X at Drivlied Family Park, and this ride is a rare launch roller coaster made by Mauer Rides, and I can tell you Mauer Rides is not known for making the most comfy roller coasters, and this is no exception. The ride experience is jolty and rattly, but you still have lap bars, so that's okay. But this ride has a decent launch, a short layout combining two inversions and then an ejector airtime hill. So in my opinion I think it's acceptable to place it here. And now coming in at spot number 11 we have Dwervelwind at Toverland, and I really think that this is our highest placed family ride on the list. Dwervelwind is part of the Mack Rides spinning family coasters, and these are just great. Many of these family spinning coasters offers a very lengthy layout combining sharp twists and turns with a great pacing, and this ride at Toverland is no exception. On top of that, the spinning carts on the trains are just decent. If you are a very tall person like me, there isn't much space for the legs, but the strong pacing and positive G-forces makes up for it on this ride. So don't miss out on this ride, Dwervelwind, if you go to Toverland. And just reaching spot number 10 we have Express Platform 13 at Walibi Holland, and if I'm being honest I didn't really know where to put it on this list. This is an old Vekoma launch coaster with a very dark theme, and I don't really know if the theming or the ride experience is better. The queue line is themed to a dark and abandoned train station combined with jump scares, and the layout of this ride is an outside version of Rock and Roller Coaster. The launch is the best thing on this ride. This launch is very punchy and has a great build up, and after two awesome inversions on the Sea Serpent roll you really have a dull ride. This ride layout is almost nothing but bank turns except the corkscrew at the end. And coming in at spot number 9 we have Python at Efteling. This ride was once an old Vekoma looping coaster, and now today it is a retrack version of an old Vekoma looping coaster. Python has the old school Vekoma looping coaster layout with two vertical loops, two corkscrews and then a helix. On top of a whole retrack, this coaster has actually got new Vekoma trains. So this ride is overall a very simple layout, but it gives positive G-forces and it's very smooth, so I like it. And respect to Efteling for retracking an old Vekoma looper. And coming in at spot number 8 we have Baron 1898 at Efteling. And surprise, we have another coaster from Efteling, and I actually think that this is the smallest B&M dive coaster in the world, but that doesn't mean that this roller coaster is bad. Baron 1898 is a heavily themed and beautiful roller coaster to look at. This coaster features the iconic stomach dropping first drop combined with a cool Immortal inversion. After that you have a floaty 0G roll combined with a helix and an airtime hill. Overall it's a short and decent dive coaster layout. This ride experience isn't really that forceful, but the theming and immersive look of this ride makes up for it. And now coming in at spot number 7 we have Goliath at Walibi Holland, and I don't really know why, but many people think this roller coaster is one of the best in the Netherlands, and I can't see it, man. You need to ride this coaster in the back row if it needs to be decent. The first part of this ride is great with a good first drop and a good airtime hill, but after that most of these elements are just too big and too drawn out in my opinion before the last camelback hills. I don't really get the hype. The S hills are too big to give any airtime and the helix isn't that forceful, but the airtime on the last camelbacks are there, so that's okay. Maybe Goliath just had a bad day when I rode it, or they could have done something with the wheels. But overall a decent ride, but too overhyped in my opinion. Coming in at spot number 6 we have Lost Gravity at Walibi Holland, and when I visited this park I actually thought that Lost Gravity had a bit more punch than Goliath. This ride overall overall has a great punchy and lengthy layout. This coaster was actually the prototype Big Dipper coaster from Mack Rides. You have many great airtime moments such as the twisted first drop and ejector hill right after. But this ride also features great hang time on the dive loop and 0G roll on the second half of this ride. So Lost Gravity is underrated in my opinion. Coming in at spot number 5 we have Joris in Die Draak at Efteling. And this really is a great dueling wooden roller coaster made by GCI. These dueling roller coasters have actually been refurbished with GCI Titan Track. So these wooden roller coasters are a lot smoother than before. These roller coasters gives the typical quality GCI roller coaster track experience. These wooden roller coasters really have a fast-paced layout, combining many airtime floater pops with strong twists and turns over the water, and then you also have the dueling element that's just so great. So yet again we have another couple of underrated wooden roller coasters right here. Coming in at spot number 4 we have Gold Rush at Slagharen, and this remote theme park in the Netherlands just has a great Gerstlauer Infinity coaster. The most important thing is that you have great lap bars on this coaster. This roller coaster really has a very special layout. This ride features a swing launch section with a beyond vertical stall. After that you have a great twisted top hat combining a floater airtime hill, strong overbank turn and a very whippy dive loop. This ride may be a bit short, but you have a swing launch, strong ejector at the top hat, floater airtime in the middle, strong positives on the overbank, and then you also have a whippy lateral G-force. Man, come on. What I really meant at the end was strong whip on the dive loop. And coming in on the third place is Troy at Toverland. Troy is really one of many great GCI wooden roller coasters. Troy really is one of the bigger GCI roller coasters out there with a very lengthy layout. This roller coaster really has many low to the ground airtime hops, and these are best experienced in the front row, but the first drop is of course back row. Troy also has some bigger overbank turns that combines a bit of positive G-force and lateral forces. So this is overall a mid to high tier GCI layout, if you ask me of course. And coming in on second place we have Phoenix at Toverland. And wow, surprisingly we have 2 roller coasters in the top 3 from Toverland. Phoenix really is one of the best B&M wing coasters in the world. Before I praise this roller coaster I have one negative thing to say, and that is the short layout. If you count how many seconds this ride experience is, it really isn't that many. Most of these wing coasters by B&M are slow and floaty, but Phoenix isn't that. Phoenix really is a very fast-paced and whippy roller coaster. The ride starts off with the iconic wing coaster dive loop, and then combined with the floater airtime hill over the water, and then you have a very cool forceful Immelmann inversion, and then you have a very positive G-force heavy helix. After that you have a very whippy 0G roll, and then you're starting to come to the end of this ride. Phoenix really is one of the best wing coasters out there, but the short layout drags it a bit down. And now coming in at spot number 1 we have Untamed at Walibi Holland, and this really is by far the best roller coaster in the Netherlands. And the rides on Untamed could be why I felt Goliath was underwhelming. I think I got 25 rides on Untamed over 2 days here. Untamed really is one of the best RMC roller coasters in the world. It is just filled with relentless ejector airtime, and the crazy double inversion at the start just leaves you out of the seat for several seconds. People often call this roller coaster a mini version of Steel Vengeance, and it is very clear to see why. And RMC also has 5 total inversions, and I really think that's the record for the RMC coasters. Untamed is just overall a lengthy and relentless airtime machine combined with floaty inversions. Damn. And if we shortly talk about the parks with the most coasters on the list, we have Walibi Holland in the lead with 5 coasters, and after that we have Efteling with 4, and then in the end we have Toverland with 3 coasters. But remember, Toverland had 3rd and 2nd place on this list. And now we've come to an end of this video. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Have I missed some coasters on this list? I don't know, man. And at the end of the day I'm always gonna say bye bye.